Boy, I just can't help but smile every time I hear that music because I know it's time for another episode of the Rec Poker Podcast. Now, we are trying something a little different today. I'm your host, Jim Reed, and instead of a chats edition or a forums edition, we're going to go take a peek into the Rec Room. So, over at Rec Poker, we've got a free community membership where anyone can come and join up and become a part of Rec Poker Nation. All it takes is an email address. Just go to rec.poker, sign up for a free community account, and you can type in the forums, you can watch our free videos, you can play in the home games. It's a great way to interact with the other members of Rec Poker Nation. Some of the folks that really jump to the fore are the guys and gals on the Wrecking Crew. And the Wrecking Crew is the folks that want to really get to the next level, share their poker knowledge with the world, get more involved in other people learning about poker, talking about poker, getting better at poker, doing it all together in our community here. So, about once a month, we invite a premium member into the rec room to talk with our wrecking crew about a hand history, a concept that's been bugging them in poker, or just to talk strat, just to chat poker strat. Why not? So, one way to do it, the best way, send me an email, jim@rec.poker. Tell me the wrecking crew member you'd like to hang out with in the rec room and the subject you'd like to discuss with them. I'll see if I can match you two up. We'll set you up for a little video call like the one you're about to watch, and you can just hang out, talk poker, and hopefully get a little better at it together. That's the plan, after all. So you might be listening to this on the audio version, and we'll try and keep it clean and fun for our audio listeners, but I do think you'll get more out of it if you watch the video that goes along with it. There's more stuff on the screen, screen sharing, hand details. Sometimes we'll look at a HUD, something like that. So I hope you enjoy the audio version, but I really hope you'll go to rec.poker and sign up for a free community account there to get access to all our free videos and that sort of thing. So without further ado, welcome to the Rec Room.
I'm making deep runs. I mean, I do very well in the mornings. In the morning tournaments, those are some of my best runs.
A lot of poker players don't like playing in the mornings, so you're playing against the right field.
Yeah, that's what it is, I think.
Like game selection. Seriously, dude, people don't appreciate game selection.
Yeah.
Playing in the right tournaments, the right structures, the right time of day on the right sites, that can yield more results than like getting really good at playing ace 10 suited on the button.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
So that's
back
great.
when I was really making good results, I think I told you this, I won over 10K in 1 month. And there was a specific tournament before ACR had this revamp of their site. They were having a lot of issues 2 years ago or so, and they were always down, and they were causing a lot of people grief on Twitter and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So then they started introducing all these series and all these other things. But before then, they had a lot of good daily tournaments that were there was a 55 12 500. There was a all the $11 were always 10Ks. And then when they came back, they reduced a lot of those guarantees. So the 55 1200, I used to win that all the time, the 1200. I won it once or twice, and then I got like second and third.
Damn.
Big prizes though.
Yeah.
But 50 60 player field, but then when it came back, now it's a 55 4K in the morning.
Right.
But I still play that one because there's only 36 40 people, and I spin into it almost every time I play it in the morning. 55.
So yeah, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll do more detailed.
Yeah, I can review the tournaments that I play with.
Yeah, what I'd like you. So one thing I'd like you to do. I'd like you to start taking some notes for me. Okay.
Tracking my spins.
Tracking, yeah, like a log. This would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Can you start like an Excel spreadsheet or something that's easy for me to work with?
Yeah.
That just is like literally a log by day of the number of tournaments you enter, their buy-in, and their format. So if they're like a spin and go or a knockout or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, totally. I'll do that. That's good to know for me too.
Yeah, and we can. Poker Tracker will record a lot of this stuff, but I want you to get in the habit. I want you to actually look at it every day. I want you to get in the habit of, as you enter tournaments, recording them.
Yeah.
and then we'll probably let Poker Tracker track a lot of this stuff in the long run. But for the first month, or even if you want, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should even get together in a couple of weeks and then go to the once a month after that or
That'd be
whatever.
good. Yeah, a
You
couple
you
weeks. Let's do a
yeah.
couple weeks. I'll
Okay.
get it. I'll get it. I'll set a date with you.
Yeah, perfect. And I
Then
think
we
as
can
long
kind of
as
go from there.
yeah, as long as you're taking it seriously in the meantime and like taking notes and stuff and staying on the right track and just thinking about the right stuff, like it's all just about having a little someone to check in with from time to time.
That's all you need, and you need someone to kind of hold you accountable with your
Honestly,
play.
that's the biggest part of it. Like I didn't want to say it, but the fact that you saying it, that's the best part. Like it's true.
Yeah.
You do need someone to hold you accountable to. Everybody does. We all do.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And I mean, even with things such as like bankroll management, like
hmm,
if I win a tournament, for example, it's like, okay, what do I do with the $850 in my account, right? Do I take out 500 and leave 350? Do I take out 600 and leave 250? And
hmm,
then am I taking out too much to leave myself with too little where I have to redeposit again?
right. And like that's that kind of stuff, you can do some thinking up front and get a realistic plan together and you don't even have to worry about that because you've already figured that out. And it's just like one thing you don't have to stress about that week, that month.
Yeah.
Um, and I think so why don't we even just start there? Like why don't you just talk to me a little bit about what you're trying to get out of this? What are your goals for yourself as a poker player? Like you're a recreational player, you've got a real
Yeah.
job, you've got bankroll, management isn't the same requirements for you than it is for like a pro who has to live and die on it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, talk to me a little bit about like where you at with it and what.
So like I know we've spoken before about my previous like tournament buy-in ranges, right?
Yep.
And how I've recently made a small ball philosophy to play the tournaments that are less exciting, quote unquote, but that will yield me better results for my risk or whatever. So $4, even an 800 guaranteed tournament where there's only 40 player pool, it's a turbo, and there's 200 up top. So I'm
Mm,
spending $400, and I used to look at something like an 800 guaranteed, and I'd look right past it. I want to
right.
play 10K, 5K at the least. And now I'm playing 2K, 1600s, 800 guaranteeds, making deep runs in those, satelliting.
Mm,
ACR developed a new functionality for spinning. I never tried it until my roommate spun into like a 55, and I was like, oh wow, so you can do it. And then I started doing it, and literally this morning I spun into a 33 for $1.75.
mm,
Yesterday or 2 days ago, me and my roommate played. In the morning, he spun into a 55 twice. In the evening, I spun into a 55 80K. And then I spun into a 109 for $1.
wow.
I don't even need to sit there and satellite. And
Yeah.
I don't, sometimes you can get carried away with the spins, but I never really lose. Oh my God, I've saved so many buy-ins with the spins. It's insane.
Well, and when it comes to like new variations and stuff like that, thinking
Yeah.
players, we have a huge edge in those new formats
Yeah.
because you're probably thinking about the ICM stuff in the right way. Other people aren't playing their stacks properly. So I
Hmm.
think even though the system, the site probably has it rigged a little bit so that they're still making money no matter what, you
Yeah.
can definitely have an edge in those spins and in other kind of stuff like that, where it just makes it that much easier. So I think that's a great idea,
So
and
my
that's
goal,
better that than
yeah,
satellites even.
exactly. Yeah. And so my goal is to be able to play tournaments every day
Nice.
and consistently yield a profit, whether short or long run, and put myself in spots where I can get big prizes too.
Yeah.
And then just kind of go from there and have my poker in add to my real life bankroll.
Yep.
And that's what I want. I don't and obviously the dream is to bank a huge tournament, and the dream
Uh-huh.
is to satellite into a crazy $630 tournament or something, and we'll get there. But I just want to be able to play poker every day. Every day. Play tournaments. I'll play cash games. I played a cash game with some friends of mine way outside of my bankroll. It's $1,000 buy-in. We did a high stakes game, and I
Mhm.
ended up having a great night and leaving with 1,500 profit. Fortunately, if I would have lost, I would have been in such
Right.
a hole.
Yeah, totally,
Like
totally,
I heard
totally.
Matt Berkey, I heard him talk about one time that he had like 700K bankroll and he played 100K cash games.
Oh.
You know? And I was sitting there thinking, like, realistically, what do I seem like if I have 700K bankroll, would I justify a 100K buy-in cash game? You know,
Mm,
like, oh, I have 600K behind, you know, whatever. It's like, man, it's the same thing with me, $700 and playing $100. You know,
it's a pretty good attitude, man. Yeah, that's
but I
right.
don't know. Just want to be able to play tournaments and then play cash games to kind of pad the bankroll a little bit here and there, and you know, I want to be very versatile with that. But I just don't want to be. I don't want to think that I'm a worse player, or sorry, I don't want to think that I'm a better player than I
Yeah,
am. You know, I want to find where I can improve always on a constant, you know, constantly reviewing all that kind of stuff. Because now I consider myself to have more of an edge than other players, and I consider myself to be a good player, but I don't want to be blind.
right.
You know,
And
I'm
and
never
I
gonna
mean,
be there.
it feels like you're playing in a good, disciplined way when it comes to game selection. That's
Hmm.
really important. We've already talked about that, and I think you are definitely, based on our conversations, you definitely have a skill edge on the field in the
Hmm.
tournaments that you're playing, and that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
So the key is to, so I'll tell you right now. So one thing I'd like to do with you by the time we meet in a month, if we
Hmm.
meet again in a month, I want to have a schedule for you where you know what your bankroll goals are for the month, and it's going to have this much of your time is spent playing those real small field tournaments for low buy-ins where you're expressing your edge, and then this much of it is going to be a slightly deeper bankroll where you're
Yeah.
going to take them more seriously, and we're going to have a plan for those. And then there's going to be like a couple of these where you take that shot, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah. The
think,
shot. Yeah.
and if you want to mix in some of these like spins as part of that strategy, then I
Hmm.
think you're already doing a good job of managing that bankroll effectively.
Yeah. It's
Um,
been bankroll too, for sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, and it just, and we have to look at the spins because it's easy for people to get caught there because they get these big spin ins and they don't realize like, oh yeah, actually I played $32 spin ins and I won a $50 ticket. I actually lost $10 on that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But um, but
Totally.
but you'll be able to track that in Poker Tracker 4,
Yeah.
and paying attention to that and like just like you say, getting some real feedback and not just what you think. Like sometimes you could even just be running good and you don't even know.
Yeah.
um, so that's one goal we're going to have, is
Yeah.
giving you a one thing you're just not even going to have to think about. It's just going to be like, I'm going to try and I love this idea of playing every day,
Hmm.
and I want
Oh,
to
me
free
too.
up as much of your time to spend playing and thinking about poker and reviewing,
Yeah.
and not to have to worry about some of this stuff. So great.
Yeah. That's
I'm
good.
loving everything I'm hearing so far. That's fantastic.
Okay.
So do you want to just dive in? Do you want to
Yeah.
just
Let's do it. Do
let's
you
do it?
have it on
Okay.
yours?
Yeah, I can bring it up here.
Okay.
So I'm just going to maximize this. Let me bring this in here. So do
So
you
this, the reason I sent you this tournament also, I want to say, is that what we were talking about, me thinking I'm a better player than I am or whatever,
hmm,
is that I could have sent you a lot of other tournaments, but this is one that's recent that I know that I feel that I played very well in. Obviously, there's always spots you can improve, and that's what I want to see, because I want to take a tournament where, oh, I played very well in it, and I want to see, oh, if I think I'm playing very well, what
hmm,
am I missing?
hmm,
So this is like what we're talking about with the B game. This might be like more of a B game tournament for me, where I feel like I'm playing better than I was in the zone, you know, focused and trying to make good
yes,
three bets and really taking everything that I learned from my reviews and tried to apply it to this game, and I ended up running really deep.
nice,
Out of
nice.
like 300 people, 280, 285, I believe, and then made it to 22nd.
Well, I mean, it's not a
So
coincidence. I think when we're thinking critically about our decisions, we make better decisions. And I
yeah,
think when we think about the fact that we're going to have to share this with other people, we also make better decisions, and we hold
yeah.
ourselves more accountable because it's like, I'm actually someone's gonna see it,
It's like when my
Uh,
roommate's watching me play and he pulls me
yes,
up, I play. It's like, okay, he's watching me. Like, I
yeah.
don't want him to see this go to showdown with this bluff, so I'm just gonna three barrel it. I don't know, you know. I just like,
It's a factor,
yeah,
whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a factor. All right, small blind, toughest spot. Okay, great.
yeah,
So here you went 3x.
Yep.
And I think that's good. I
Yeah.
think this is the spot. This is a perfect place to have a bigger open, no matter what your hand is, because you don't want the big blind to have such an enticing opportunity to just call with a wide range of hands. So I
And then
love
if they
this.
have a hand, they'll push back and I'll get out.
Yep, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think this is perfect. Ten
That's
six
good.
suited,
I
love
learned
it.
that from my roommate. I learned it. He saw me just do a regular open against the big blind. He was like, "Hey, I would challenge you to do 3x or so
Yep,
because of that."
yep, 100%.
I started doing it.
Especially if your standard opens like 2.4, you got to make,
Mhm.
yeah, 3x here is great. If your standard
Yeah.
open is like a min raise, then you can make this like 2.5, 2.6, something like that. But always make it bigger.
Yeah,
Always
yeah.
make it bigger. So I love
Okay.
that. And you get a call. Pretty sweet flop.
Wow. I know.
So yeah, so here I love this. So less than half pot, right?
Yeah.
What made you choose that sizing there and the other sizing on the aces hand?
Oh, okay. So I think the aces hand, I felt like I'm ahead,
Yep.
but at the same time, see, and this might be the thing too. Who knows if I was really thinking about it, right? As far as the sizing goes,
Yep.
maybe I was just betting because I know that I'm ahead of whatever he has, unless he has a nine, which it'd have to suck to find out. I mean, obviously he has 60 big blinds with the nine situation, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna get it all in with aces there. That
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I think it's more so. I think so. This sizing, I feel confident that I have the best hand right now with the spade draw as well.
Yep.
But at the same time, I do feel a little vulnerable being out of position, and then just with not a great kicker, etc. But small
Yeah.
blind to big blind, this is such a strong spot. So I know I'm ahead, but I want to make it. It's less than half pot, so you want him to call, but you don't want him to call. I don't know. It's like I don't want him to turn a jack with
Right.
jack eight, whatever, or
Yeah, the
anything like that.
tens right at that spot where there's still four overcards,
Yeah.
you know, um, which is a
But I
lot.
feel confident that I'm ahead right now.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I think you're.
if he has a four or a deuce or anything, he's gonna call.
Yeah, I think he's coming along with any pair, any pocket pair, nines down
Yep.
to threes, probably any flush combos for sure at this
Yeah.
sizing, and probably hands like Jack Queen, Queen King, two overcards with a backdoor straight, one heart maybe. I can see him continuing. Although some of
So
those he re-raises, pre-flop, two or
so I
three
don't
X.
know necessarily what to think about the sizing right here, other
Mm,
than just that I'm ahead, but
yeah.
it's like, should I be betting smaller to get the fours and the deuces to come along? Should I be, you know,
No, I think I
it's an
think
interesting spot.
yeah, I think I wouldn't bet smaller
Yeah.
because I think you're still going to get those calls. And I think again in a big picture setting, blind versus blind, I think you gain a lot from having a small bet size like this. So I don't think there's
Mhm.
any real incentive to go like half
Yeah, that's
pot,
good.
where you want to be stabbing a lot too, right?
Yeah, half pot just seems too big.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right. All right, so let's see how they respond. They call.
Okay.
Okay,
So now,
what were they calling with, right? Uh,
yeah,
I mean, in a way, you love seeing that four because it's
exactly.
just like less likely that they have it, but it's too bad because we wanted them to have a four
Yeah.
before. So now, okay, so now
Now I
you go
bet
half
half
pot,
pot.
and there. It's a quarter of their stack.
Yep.
So this feels like this feels like. Well, all right. Tell me why is the
So
turn size bigger?
I feel like I did half pot, and honestly, looking at it right now, I might even do a little bit more.
Hmm.
And the reason being is because now he's calling me. So in the moment, but me thinking about it differently now, I would think differently. But I'm thinking, okay, now I want to protect against, if you have a flush draw, I want you to either reshove on me right now,
Mm-hmm.
or if you have, I don't know, because any better, if he has a 10, it's probably better than mine.
Yeah,
If he
probably.
had a four that he called me on the flop, he just turned trips, and he's not calling the deuce with half pot. So then what am I really winning?
That's my issue here, because even the
Yeah.
heart draws are
I
now.
like a check maybe even.
Oh yeah, yeah, because then he gets
Maybe
to
a
bluff that
check.
4 too, right?
Yeah. He can bluff or he can whatever he called me. That's just the weird thing. Is like, okay, what did you call me with on the flop? Is it a flush draw? You know?
Yeah.
And
So I
then
think
so
I think given your
if it's a
flop
flush draw, I like the
sizing,
bet though.
well, yeah, but you don't get to know.
I don't know.
uh, but I think a smaller sizing here is more consistent with your strategy
Like
on the flop.
3,500.
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
his the only draw you're worried about now is the hearts, right?
Mhm.
And some weird wheel draw that he could have been in there with like ace three suited or something,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But really, it's the heart. Um, and his odds have dropped in half now, because he doesn't get to draw on the turn, and not his odds have dropped in half. He doesn't get to pull two cards. He's down to one card.
Yeah.
So um, you can they're making a mistake to call a smaller sizing than this, even though they're also making a mistake to call with this one.
Yeah.
And then all the other hands, if he does have a 4, if he does have a 10 with a better kicker, um, you're
They're
getting the
calling it.
same response from them, but it's just costing you more chips.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think
Uh,
flush draw would re-raise me pre-flop, no?
or on the flop, yeah,
Yeah, on the flop. That's
yeah.
right.
Although they're getting a pretty good price with that small bet, but yeah,
Yeah.
I could see them deciding to play it more aggressively if they're going to. Let me put it this way: if they had a flush draw and he was the raising type, he would have done it on the flop and not on the
Yeah, yeah,
turn. They would have
yeah.
done it to the smaller sizing. So you're in a position here where if you're getting raised, the good news is you can comfortably fold because you're always behind. If you can
Mhm.
eliminate a flush draw from his range, then you're basically behind every time he raises for value. Um, but I think you could find out that same information for less chips. And when you make it big like this, now when he raises, you're actually going to be getting really good odds on that call
The
with top
call, but
pair
you know you're
and no
behind.
kicker, and you're like, oh man, well now I have to call, and that's
And
how.
you know you're behind. That makes
Right,
sense.
right,
So then let me ask you really quick
yeah, yeah,
on the flop, if if I wanted to find you said if he's a raising type player,
yeah,
you would have probably heard about it on the flop.
yeah.
How do I find out if he's a raising type player?
By playing against him enough to get notes,
Okay,
and
okay.
just by getting hands on him and seeing how aggressively they play draws and stuff like
So
that.
it'll tell you that he three bet draws and stuff
Yeah,
or three raise
yeah,
draws.
yeah.
Okay.
In fact, let me. Yeah, maybe I don't
Yeah,
want to
we'll
waste.
find
I don't want to
out.
waste our time pulling up my own hands right now. But in our next month, um,
We can talk about that.
yeah, I'll pull some up in my HUD, and you can see some pretty sophisticated notes.
Good, good.
Yeah, like
So
yeah, that's cool.
so I think that you're totally right. Hearing that from you, I like a smaller bet there
Yeah, I
because
think you can do it.
you're getting the same result. If he doesn't want to continue, he's gonna fold from it, whether it's 4,500 or whether it's 3,000.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's
Even
right.
2,800, I think will fold. They won't continue.
Probably
I don't
on
know. I
that
don't
on
know
that
what he's
board.
calling with. He might be
On
calling
that
with a
board.
deuce. I don't know. Ace deuce.
And the nice thing about that, honestly, is that when you have a hand like this, you don't even really mind like if they call with those real wide ranges to the extra small bet. That actually isn't really the end of the world,
You're
because you're
getting
getting called by
value.
a lot of hands that you're beating. Those are value bets now.
Ace
Yeah,
deuce.
yeah,
If he's
yeah,
got ace deuce and
yeah,
I bet 2,500, he might
yeah.
call.
You love that.
Yeah,
You love that.
that's true.
So,
That's true.
um, so that's that. It works. It works on both sides of that too.
Yeah.
All right. So so value sizing. I'm just gonna make a note.
Man, I hope we can find some more value spots because that's a place that I need to work at. Sometimes I try to get greedy and I try to get all the value on the
Mm,
river
hmm.
when I should be deciphering their ranges and being like, okay, if he just has top pair here, he's not going to call it all in, so I should just make it five big blinds or whatever, you know?
Well, yeah, and you
So I
can.
try to size it to be a pot size bet on the river, but still it's
Yes,
so
that's
strong.
smart. That's smart. That's smart. You do want to be
Yeah.
thinking about that. And that's another one of those things that you want to be thinking about every time, but you also need to be thinking about, when are we going to deviate from this? Yep. Okay. I don't mind that open. What's the
Yeah.
stack size here? Yeah. Okay. You're deep enough for sure. Nice.
That's
Get a
good call.
call. Ooh, juicy
Better.
little spot here. So I'm assuming he checks because everyone always checks. And
I see
then,
that.
yeah, this is like the perfect board for you to be c betting right now, eh?
Yeah.
All right,
All
let's see.
my under the gun ranges.
Yeah, this high mid rainbow. That's like you c bet 100% at that. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
great. And you're
Yeah.
not even going to have this much equity on a lot of these boards like that.
No,
But
no, it's still good equity.
this is like the gin board for you. Love
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
Love that. Love it. All right.
I love it.
Well, thanks for joining me, folks. I hope you had as much fun as I did in the Rec Room today. Just a reminder that if you'd like to join the premium membership at Rec.Poker, you can use the code RECPOKER, which will take $10 off the already incredibly low price of $15 a month. That's right, you could get your first month for only $5. And let me tell you, folks, $5 at Rec.Poker for the premium membership is the best $5 you're going to spend in poker this year. You're going to get access to the seminars, the online play-in hangs, the focus study group. You're going to be able to submit hands to the Wrecking Crew just here in the Rec Room. And if you do, email me, jim@rec.poker, and let me know the subject matter you're interested in and who on the Wrecking Crew you'd like to talk to about it. And we will make it happen, get you out here on the podcast, and you can help the rest of Rec Poker Nation by sharing your knowledge and sharing your questions, and we can all get better at poker together. It's what we do. If $5 seems like too much, I totally get that. No pressure at all. Go to rec.poker and sign up for a free community account. You can play in the home games. You can interact in the forums. You can post your own questions and answers. You can interact with the rest of Rec Poker Nation totally for free. It's a great place to come and meet people like yourself that want to have a good time with good people and get better at poker while we're doing it. So I do hope you come by and visit. And I'd like to thank Website AMP, Learn Pro Poker, and the Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino for making this all possible. And I hope to see you over at Rec.Poker. Come visit.